Hey, still out here walking around, trying to find things to work on, trying to climb out of here. So, you know, some of the things that we covered today, and I'm going to say today because by now you've probably realized that all three of these episodes are filmed on the same day. I'll be honest, on the same trail. Wasn't really meaning for that to happen, just happened to come across everything that needed to be really talked about. So, in this episode, episode 3, we're going to talk about like tread maintenance, not the organic buildup of tread maintenance, but like we talked about in episode 2, but we're going to talk about when we need to fix the tread. So the tread is that. So when we talk about the tread, it's the trail. It's a trail that we're walking on, whether it's a dirt trail or a gravel trail or a paved trail. The tread is what you walk on. And in some instances, like this, the tread and the bench are relatively the same. Here, we're actually at a spot I want to talk about, and we'll talk about the tread maintenance here. So here is an example of some rutting. Now, here in outside of Wenatchee in number 2 Canyon, the ground here ruts pretty easily when it's wet and soft. So what caused this rutting is obviously excessive use while it was wet. This is a non-motorized trail, and I actually came up here when this happened, right after this happened, and this is actually motorcycle ruts, which is a shame. But, you know, as you know, areas get closed off to more and more motorcycles and off-road motorized use, they start rebelling, and this is what we end up with. So what we want to do is we need to, I'm going to set you down. I hope these come out decent, and I hope the sound's good. We need to collapse this rut. The first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we clean out any, if it's got any heavy organic material in there. This really doesn't. We got some loose rocks. We're going to go ahead and leave those in where we can. And then, yeah, we're just going to collapse the rut. As you can see, it's built up on the sides. And it's solid material, solid ground. We're just gonna collapse this in. And when you're collapsing, yes, you can collapse against the direction of the trail. Unlike when you're cutting and scraping stuff away, you cut with the trail to prevent bumps. But in this case, we're gonna refinish over this, so we just wanna collapse all this material that's kind of sticking out. You can see it's starting to get filled in. We're actually now cutting with the trail along the edge of what we cut. So we're basically now widening that tread so that way it's no longer a narrow section. So now we have this pretty much filled in, this big rut. We can start flattening out and cutting the rest of this tread in. So, you know, we want to make sure that we have a flat, level tread. So we want it to come down like this. We don't really want any outslope yet. We want to keep the water slow and flat. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and just, you can see I'm cutting the tread a little bit wide here, widening it out, making sure it's nice and even. Then we're just going to walk through and we're going to tamp it down, that center channel here. And we have some dirt we can bring into the lower area here and fill that in. And yeah, we're just going to now just, you ever, remember when you're young and you drag your feet? Your parents would be like, Stop dragging your feet. Well, it's okay to drag your feet here. And we've got a little moisture in the ground here, which is perfect because it's going to help with the, make sure that it's not going to just turn to dust and blow away. So, yeah, look at that. It's nice and solid now. Cut that giant rut out of there. And we're going to go ahead and just kind of cut this lip out of here. Build up right here. We'll continue to drag our feet. And yeah. So, again, keeping this flat, we want to not create channels, because channels will direct water in a way that it kind of increases its velocity. Okay, let's pick you back up. And yeah, we'll just wander on up. There's a couple other areas I want to talk about. I've been out here for like 3 hours and I haven't seen anyone. Well, that's a lie. I saw 3 hikers when I first got here, and that's all I've seen out on this trail. I would expect a little bit more. So let's show you what's going on here. I'm sure you can tell. So while I can't make it out here while it's raining, you can see what nature has kind of done what I used to look for. So we can see where the water actually settled in this spot because the pollen settled on top of the water and the water slowly had to absorb into the ground. So what's going on here is we have a blocked drain. So let's go ahead and fix that drain real quick. You know, I have a stump right here. I wonder if this will work. Well, I'm gonna assume you can see me. And we'll fix this drain. So you can see the water came down and just settled right here. And the reason why is there's all this material here. Like they moved all of this material when they built this trail and they just piled it in this low spot. So this is something as a trail builder you need to definitely like make sure you don't do. So we're just gonna, oh, barbed wire. The things you find out while working on trails. So apparently there was probably a fence that went through here. I'm gonna move this back here. I don't have anything to cut this with right now. So let's go ahead and just rip out this. Like there's a lot of rotted logs. We don't have to do a whole lot here. Like it drops off pretty quickly. I have a feeling I'm gonna come across a hornet's nest or something. That's what I feel like is gonna happen here. We'll move this, get rid of this grass. Wow. Switch over to this side. Wearing this backpack. There we go. A pain in the ass. Sorry for my language there. So yeah, when they came through here, they built this with an excavator. Instead of making sure that this low spot didn't have, you know, an area for this water to drain off, instead all this material got piled here. And instead of the water, see how deep this is? So this is another thing we'll talk about in a later chapter. And that's when we start talking about grubbing and casting, and why casting is a very, very important job to do. And really helps with the longevity of a trail. So we're gonna just get this all moved out. Yeah, see, this is just all grass that was piled up and logs. Okay, there's a gap there now. Okay, so we should now be able to get rid of all of this material. So here we go. We're opening that drain up. nice and wide. Keep it flat and level as in this way level. So flat and, you know, slight outslope, but enough, not so much that it's going to cause erosion issues. Not that with all this material it is, but okay. This, by the way, we have this really thick bunch grass here. That is, the roots are horrendous. And so we're gonna cut this out here. Again, we're not trying to make a channel, trying to keep everything going only in one direction at a time. So one direction at a time, one direction at a time. And we'll get into why that's important later on too. So yeah, that's a good example of a, not a clogged drain, it was just a poorly placed material. But in, you know, a lot of instances, you'll get a lot of clogged drains from organic material getting washed down these long grades like this that have little, that are lacking a lot of reversals. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about in this episode. So the next episode is going to be about soil. So that's the next chapter. So we'll be talking about soil, what's important about soil, what is soil, what to look for in soil. And then chapter 4 will be about water and what we can do with water. It's pretty amazing, actually. I'm actually really glad that I was able to kind of come out here, grab the selfie stick, kind of show in real time what's going on, and, you know, we'll see how good this splices together with everything. And, you know, this chapter on basic trail maintenance is kind of really important. Basic trail maintenance is something that needs to be done for sustainable trails to continue. You know, while sustainable trails means, you know, you're little to no maintenance, that's more about the bench, like major erosion issues. They still need brushing, they still need someone to walk through them and clean drains. And, you know, a few people can do a lot of trail in a couple hours. You know, it's a good thing to do on your local trails, just walk through with, you know, a McLeod, a HR70, a rake, a shovel. Although we didn't even get the shovel out today, mainly because, again, it just shows how versatile this tool is. Yeah, so there's my rig behind me. I'm now back here where I all started, and with that, until next time.